Hello and welcome to the Arena Sports Show. My name is Clauiee Grace Mpanza. Absolutely excited to have you alongside on yet another exciting episode. We have so much, of course, to talk about, and we've got a special guest that will be joining us in just a bit. Caesar Mabena is not around in fit for this one, so we had to release him and bring in a man who knows everything about, of course, match game and, of course, being ready for that international encounter. Reneilwe Yeye Letsholonyane, who is joining us today, and, of course, my usual guest, influencer Mahlatse Mphahlele, is with me as well. But gents, before we get into, of course, our regular features, first thing first, Yeye, our coach Yeye. I mean, you know, you gotta address the coach right now. Coach Yeye, I love your dress attire, by the way. I just gotta put it out there. Amazing choice of color. How are you doing?
No, this color thing. No. Yeah, she's always been my coach since I got in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, choice of color, it has nothing to do with what you think.
What do I think?
I don't know.
So how do you know what
anyway,
I think?
It's okay. Thanks for having me. How are you?
No, I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. Influencer, how are you doing?
Good.
You're bright and yellow. I don't know if you're insinuating anything as well.
No.
With your choice of color.
I just wanted to brighten the day up a little bit. It's cold. It's, you know, people are down and sad. And okay, let me brighten the guys, and then let's see how it goes. Yeah. But I'm good. I'm good. It doesn't no meaning at all. I just decided to be different today.
All right, I think the club from Pretoria might appreciate that, Mahlatse Mphahlele, but we have a jam-packed show for you. Let's get through, of course, the features that we have for you. We'll start off with our top stories, as a lot has been happening in the world of sport. The South African senior women's national team, Banyana Banyana, beat Senegal 2-0 during their second international friendly match played on Tuesday. This victory was secured through goals from Amogeleng Motau and Noxolo Sisane, and they avoided defeat in Senegal as they drew 1-1 with their host in the first friendly match last weekend. The Comrades Marathon Uprun from Durban to Pietermaritzburg returns to the road racing calendar for the first time since 2019, and organizers of the race on a Sunday says there will be an array of top male and female contenders. The Bulls will head back to Soweto should they get to host the United Rugby Championship final on the 22nd of June. The Pretoria side will not have their Fortress Loftus Veldveld available on the day, as that will be in use for the presidential inauguration. The previous inauguration was also held at Loftus back in 2019 in May. Moving over to cricket, the Proteas will be looking to make it 2 wins out of 2 matches when they take on the Netherlands during the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Group Phase match that will be happening at the International Cricket Stadium in New York come Saturday. South Africa started the tournament with a 6-wicket victory over Sri Lanka on Monday. All right, keeping things moving, one of my favorite features on the show is Star of the Week, and we'll start off with our special guest today. Yeye, who is your Star of the Week?
Star of the Week. Is it local or international?
Listen, you can indulge us anywhere in the world in the past 7 days. Who has impressed you?
I think locally we watched the Nedbank Cup final. I will give this one to the young Relé, mainly for me because I think he's one of the top youngsters that I've seen in a very long time. Attitude-wise, he has the right attitude. Talent-wise, willingness, and contributing, playing with confidence for a big team like Orlando Pirates, coming on as a sub, influencing a game.
For sure.
That big game, and obviously helping the team to win that trophy. I think I'll go with him.
And it's interesting you say that, because we're talking about, you know, when you talk about the big 3 clubs in South Africa, is that when you go to those 3 clubs, you need to be ready. You can't be a potential or bubbling under. You get there, you need to shine. And I think Yeye is proving that. I mean, Relay is proving that right in Orlando Pirates.
Yeah, most definitely. You go in there as a youngster, but you don't have too much time to stay as a youngster.
Yeah.
At some point, you must hit the ball running. You must now be part of the team, because when you play for one of the 3 teams, the big 3 teams, we can only be saying ke youngster, but at some point you need to come out there. Lucky Relay is now one of those players that you can say, yes, he's young, but we can rely on him. He can change a game. Every now and then, you will see that he's young. You will see decision making, what he does. You will see that he's young, but there's maturity in that youngster versus other youngsters.
100%. Mahlatse Mphahlele, who is your star of the week?
You should have asked me first, because now coach comes here and then he takes my pins now. But yeah, I'll also go with Reneilwe. I fully agree with. By the way, I'm struggling to call him Coach Yeye because
same, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
But yeah, I fully agree with Coach. Really has done fantastically well for himself, for the club, and I think it goes to that issue of the coach having they call it risk and reward. You'll find a coach at a big club like Pirates being scared of giving a younger player an opportunity, and then he gave really a chance, and he really showed what he can do. He has been exceptional this season. Pretty much being one of the key players. I can tell you now that when the coach makes the team, really probably his name is the first one on the team list because of the impact he has had on that team, and he plays like he has been around for a very long time. And on the issue of saying he's possibly the best young player we've seen in South Africa in a while, is true. We haven't seen something exceptional like this in a while. I think there was a Kaizer Chiefs not so long ago. He came on, had a good season, scoring goals and stuff. But unfortunately, he left and he's no longer playing anymore now. So yeah, I'm happy for him. He goes to Bafana now. I was at Bafana at Dobsonville earlier in the week, and in first training with the national team. He looks like he belongs there, And coach says some nice things to say about the kid behind the scenes. He's just laughing, enjoying himself, and and you can see that he belongs there and he wants to play football. I really hope for his sake that the people around him behind the scenes can look after him. If he moves from Pirates, he must go to the right environment where he's going to play, he's going to gain more experience, and he's going to be educated so that he becomes a better player.
Coach, just to wrap it up while we're talking about relay, I mean, a lot of question marks were thrown at the starting lineup because a lot of people were expecting, of course, the DStv Premiership top goal scorer in Mabasa to start for Orlando Pirates. Same thing with Urile. They expected them to start, but they didn't. So I want to find out from a coaching perspective, what leads to such decisions where you say, okay, I know these are my informed players, but I'm not going to start them. I'll use them as impact players. Yeah,
there's a plan behind every game that a coach puts. There's ideas that he think he wants to approach a certain game, right? And because you are thinking of something, definitely the other coach is thinking of a plan to counter what you are thinking.
For sure.
So with your plan, you must have the right people to execute that plan. And yes, because I know someone has been doing well, chances are he'll be the player that is going to play, right? But now the coach will say, no, I want to change a bit. So as much as I know that he's my informed player currently, I'll start him outside on the bench, start with him with this one to implement exactly the plan that I want to see on the field. And when I put this one in, already the influence. One, he's hungry to be on the field. Two, maybe he has questions. Why didn't I play? Why didn't I start? Because I've been doing well. So I'll want to go in and prove a point. Three, that's a big game. And then every player wants to be part of that game. So those are the few things that a coach thinks about.
Coaching 101, Mahlatse Mphahlele. I hope you're taking,
we're learning.
I hope you're taking notes there. But then my star of the week, because I know Mahlatse won't ask me. I'll forgive you for not asking because you're the guest. But Mahlatse always forgets. My star of the week is Mark Marquez. He has, of course, dotted down a contract with Ducati for next year, a 2-year contract, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we've been seeing Mark struggling after the injury in Honda. So to see him trying to get back to winning ways, and I mean, currently this season, we see him getting podiums here and there, and of course, getting points. So I think this is a good move for Mark Marquez, and hopefully things will go well for him in Ducati next season. You mentioned Coach Hugo Mahlatse Mphahlele as to he had a few good things to say about Relebohile Mofokeng. Let's quickly find out what Coach Hugo Broos has to say about the youngster.
I was very happy to see him yesterday, and he had respect for every player. You see, really, this guy knows that he's young and that he needs to have respect for all those players who showed 10 times more than he. There were already 7-8 years in first division. He scored 14 goals. He was fantastic. He was fantastic. But he knows that it is still a long way to go. I see it on his attitude. And I'm very happy with that because, you know, when you receive so much publicity, like he this season, and then suddenly with the winning goal of Saturday, yeah, it's a nice guy. And I'm very happy that he's like that. So I hope that he stays in his head like he is now. The quality is there. Nobody has to discuss that. So, but being humble, like he is now, with all this publicity around and what they told about him going to Europe and going there and whatever, yeah, he's still, I think, the same Mofokeng of 10 months ago, and I'm very happy about that.
Well, it's nice to see, of course, that Coach Hugo Broos has nice things to say about a youngster. We'll talk about Bafana Bafana in just a bit. Let's quickly wrap up the DStv Premiership that has, of course, officially concluded. The league is done and dusted. Coach Yeye, you look into the season that has been. Mamelodi Sundowns champion, Orlando Pirates second, and then you've got Stellies in third place. What have you made of the season that we've encountered? I mean, a top 8 where your former club, Kaizer Chiefs, is not in the top 8, unfortunately. But talk to us about the season that has been.
Sure. It has been a good season for some teams. Obviously, Mamelodi Sundowns winning the league with 7-8 games to go.
Yeah.
That one, it's obviously been a good season. Pirates, Stellies. I think the last 4 games for both teams, it was very intense games because both of them, they were trying to secure the position for the Champions League. And prior that, Stellies were winning and getting the points that they needed.
Yeah.
But where they needed the points most, unfortunately, they could not get, and Pirates managed to overtake them. Improved performances for both teams.
Yeah.
Versus the last season. Better position on the log. Better performances here and there for both teams. But I think consistency for most teams in the DStv Premiership makes Sundowns to always be 9, 10, 12 points ahead. Because where Sundowns picks up points, other teams don't. They drop points. And when Sundowns can afford to lose against Stellies and Pirates or Chiefs, whatever, but they know at some point that other teams will drop points somewhere and Sundowns will pick up those points. That's consistency for me. And then Sundowns has always been consistent when it comes to the league.
The young players have been a big talking point this past season, and I know that development is something that's also quite close to your heart. What have you made of the youngsters that we've seen this league? Because Relay is not the only youngster. Yes, he's shining the most, but there's also been other youngsters that we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of youngsters playing in our league. It's a good thing that we are now seeing a lot of them.
Yeah.
But also we must watch out how we we throw them in there. I'll go back to Relé. When he started, he was not thrown in there. He was always being played 15 minutes. Nyana, Neneng, he was playing 30 minutes. So he was slowly being integrated. Sometimes he was not playing, and when he was playing, they will protect him and then out. Up until he got to the level where now the coach says you can start the game. But even when he was starting the game, he was not finishing the game. Right?
Yeah.
So that's slowly integrating and protecting the boy, protecting the talent, to say at the right time, you'll definitely be there. So we must give those youngsters a chance to grow in that space.
For sure.
Let's not throw them in the deep end and say, hey, Baba, go swim. Not many of them have that heart to swim with the Sharks. Few of them, out of 10, probably 2 will be able to say, I can take this pressure. Put me there, I can take it immediately.
Yeah.
But others need time, need to be babied, need to be protected up until that right time where you now say, okay, sharp, now I can stand on my own. But remember, when you play for the 3 big teams, you don't have that luxury of a youngster that is playing for Stellies, that is playing for SuperSport. You don't have that luxury. Those other teams, they specialize in giving youngsters a chance so that big teams can buy. Right?
Yeah.
For you to buy your own time for the big 3 teams, you must win a trophy. So that means any player that is representing that batch does not have time, a luxury of time to say, no, I'm still young, I'm still adjusting. No, if a normal youngster with other teams has 2 months to adjust, when are there you have 3 weeks.
Jeez, the pressure is on, yeah?
Pressure.
100%. Influencer, you look at Orlando Pirates, in the last 7 years, they finished 2nd place 4 times. They've done it again, of course, this season. And you look into how they ended. I mean, they ended off quite well. Between April and May, they had the 7 consecutive wins. It was great for them. And then you look into how they start, the consistency that you're talking about, Yeye. They were not so consistent at the beginning of the season, but they are, of course, the kings of cup competitions because they've been winning them back-to-back, the Nedbank Cup and the MTN8. How do you round up their season?
Yeah, if I was a professor in marking Pirates,
I'm hoping distinctions.
I will give, they will definitely pass. They will go to the next grade. Simply because I think winning 2 cups you can never be a disgrace in winning 2 cups in a season. I mean, if you look at international football, a domestic double is quite significant. So on that score, 10 out of 10. They've won 2 of the 4 cups that are available. There's no shame in that. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the coach, and I think they did well in that respect.
For sure.
I just have a little bit of an issue with the messy way they go about their business in the league. They are not consistent enough. And also, if you check Paris, the way they constantly change the team every season, maybe sometimes comes back to haunt them in terms of launching a serious assault in the league. Sundowns has been pretty much settled, and whenever Sundowns bring in players, to their advantage, you have a Lucas Ribeiro, he's the ground running. You have, it's only maybe this season where Esquivel struggled a little bit to hit the ground running, but over the years, Allende, he looked like he was playing here for many, many years. Excuse me, even local players, they go there and then they acclimatize quickly and then they get, I mean, look at Lodge. Lodge went to Sundowns. A lot of people had questions as to whether he will fit into the system. And I mean, if you look at Lodge closely, he has done very well at Sundowns. So if you are going to be chasing a team like that, you need to be consistent. I mean, at the end of the season now, there's about 23 points difference between Sundowns and Pirates. It's too much. I just feel, though they are a very good cup side, they need to translate that cup pedigree or cup form into the league.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, or at the end of the day, somewhere, somehow, they will have to find a way as to how they topple Sundowns and win the league.
So we do know that preparation influencer is something that's also quite important. And at this period, we're seeing players that are being released. Makaringa, one of the players that was released from Orlando Pirates, who joined them for Maritzburg ahead of the 2019-20 season. Cameroonian striker Maru also released. And then you look into the assistant coach as well of Orlando Pirates, also released, but that was more of a personal decision. Talk to us now going into the new season, because there's now CAF Champions League that has been added on their list. So now you look at who's been released, and there's more players that we're expecting to be released. The seniority at Orlando Pirates, how is that now going to look?
Yeah, I think obviously for their advantage is that the coach has been here now. So he knows the domestic season. I'm sure before he went on holiday, he has given the list to the club to find players that he wants. He told them the players that he doesn't want for next season. They will accordingly, they will meet each other at the door. Those who come will come in, and those who leave, they will be leaving.
Yeah.
And he will still find a way of how the team will be balanced for next season. As to who comes and with what quality, we don't know for now. I think Makaringe, though, for me, I think he's a handy footballer. He just was unlucky. He hasn't played enough. And I'm sure he made a case to the club to say, okay, if I'm not playing, then release me, or maybe the contract's coming to an end, or whatever the case may be.
For sure.
He didn't really do much for them. There were players who were far more ahead of him on the pecking order. At some stage, they played him at right back for a few matches. He did say that is a position which he liked, and he may want to grow into.
Yeah.
But for sometimes for a player at his age to be moved around and start a new position, it may be a little bit difficult. Maybe he didn't enjoy it as much as he was letting us on in. So there are those complex issues that are going to have to happen now. So when they get back to pre-season, hopefully the business will be done in the market, and the coach will sort of have a settled team that is going to be working with in the next season. Champions League is a big factor. You would want to see them bring in players with a little bit of Champions League experience. But Champions League experience in its way. It's at Sundowns. I don't think they'll get even a single player from Sundowns. I feel, having watched them so closely this past season, that they're a little bit light when it comes to Champions League. If you just look at the entire team, they don't have that genuine, like a hardcore experience on the continent.
Yeah.
Players traveling up and down, and maybe those who have done it with national teams, junior national teams, or having been there before.
Yeah.
And Champions League is quite a difficult place to be at. If you don't do your stuff correctly there, it may mess you up domestically. We've seen teams go into the Champions League or Confed Cup, and then they come back and they are relegated when they come back. I'm not saying that Pirates will be relegated, but I'm just saying if you don't plan it accordingly, it may really affect you. And you will see a situation where you finish second this year, go to the Champions League, next season you finish fifth. I don't think they want to find themselves in that kind of a situation. So what happens between now and the start of the season is going to be important as to how they plan with one eye in the Champions League. And for them to be able to deal with Champions League properly, the club must be prepared to spend money on the traveling logistics of the players, because if you don't charter in the Champions League, then you are going to have a house in Dubai or Qatar. Because when you go to North Africa, you Johannesburg, Qatar, and North Africa. So it's very, very difficult, yeah.
It definitely is. We keep it moving then. I don't know if you guys have watched Chasing the Sun. I managed to watch it again, and I always marvel at how, rugby in South Africa, how well organized they are. And I was listening to Rassie Erasmus, where he was talking to the players. Basically, there's a part where he was showing the players, like, how fans can be so mean, and even as journalists, sometimes we say things, and I know you as players, sometimes you're like, but why would you say that? And the reason why he said he was showing the players, all those awful things that were being said, is that he was trying to make it personal. Because it's one thing to be emotional, but it's another thing when it's personal. Well, now when you go to a relay, you're trying to prove yourself. You're trying to show the world what you can actually do. So now I want to find out from you, Coach. I mean, you've played the game at the highest level. You played for different clubs. The pressure has been there. And now you're looking at Bafana Bafana. A lot has been said. Their past friendlies, haven't done well. It's draws. Yes, they're scoring, but it's just been stalemates. So before you look into Bafana Bafana, perhaps your pressure, where you've, I don't know if you have experienced this moment with the coach, where they tell you all these things that people are saying about you, and does it help from a player perspective?
Not really. I've never had a coach that told me specifically what obviously the fans and supporters are saying, but I know, or I knew what people were saying through obviously the social media, through face-to-face, people saying it, the disappointments obviously of the performance individually and as a team. I understood the team that I was playing for. I understood who I was representing, and losing a game, what did it mean to those people? So already that was a motivation to say, try and do your best.
So it does push you.
Yeah, it does, and because of supporters are not stupid. They see, they know. When you lose, putting an effort, they'll appreciate that because they know that you either win, lose, or draw in a game. So when they see that you are putting in an effort, you are trying, even when you lose, they'll still encourage you to do more. They'll feel for you. But if the effort is neither here nor there, then that's where the problem is. Because maybe in your head you think you are putting enough, but what people see, it's not enough. So yeah.
Mahlatse, you want to add on that?
I think we had said that we don't want to talk about Chiefs, but the temptation is there. I'm tempted, not me talking about Chiefs. I think you are a legend of the club. You have won things for these guys, and these days fans talk more about you guys than the current players that are there. Just maybe just your reflection of the team, the performance. I mean, failing to make it in your top 8 it's just, we don't want to sugarcoat it, but it's just absolute embarrassment, really.
I avoided that when you said I didn't qualify.
I know,
but I always knew somehow it will definitely it's not a nice thing. It's not good enough that Kaizer Chiefs is not more top 18, because Kaizer Chiefs should be competing for the league, not even the top 8 and stuff. That's not good enough. That's not how Kaizer Chiefs should be. That's not where Kaizer Chiefs should be. This is the right time for me, off season, where now everything should now start be. You mentioned about Pirates planning for the CAF, and this is the right time now that the management plan properly. Get the right people to be in that space. Not everyone that is free belongs to any space, belongs to Chiefs. So you might have 20 players that are free from different teams, but you'll probably have about 3 players out of 20 that these ones will be Kaizer Chiefs players that will represent the badge, that will represent the team, the whole of supporters, the chairman, the best way possible. So this is the time to reflect from the top to bottom. Players now said, did they do enough? Nah, they must now reflect on themselves if they did enough for the team, for themselves, for the supporters. And then obviously even the management must do the same, and then come with a proper plan going forward.
Coaching changes. You speak about the players, the coaching department.
He's a coach also.
I mean, you're a coach yourself.
But the team had already said, I think 5-6 games before the season ended, that they will be looking for another coach, right? So I'm sure that it's in the process. And the same as with players, you must get a right coach that will be coaching Kaizer Chiefs. Kaizer Chiefs is not just a team. It's not just a team that you can get any one or two to coach there. So I'm sure that is why now the team is quiet, taking their time to choose a coach, because it is important that they get the right coach. The past 3 or 4 seasons, coaches has been changed, and so you will not get consistency also there because you're changing teams. So now someone that is gonna come now, he should be the right person that has a pedigree of being at that level, understanding the pressure at that level. Because now it's 9-10 years without obviously winning. Already it's pressure for a team like Chiefs that they haven't been playing or winning anything. Abu Makelwane there won something in 2 years, 2 trophies this season. So already, you know, it's comparison. Makelwane is getting something, and we haven't been getting something. So now already, when you come in with that pressure to say, I must try and get something. In that season, next season, instead of having 4 trophies to fight for, you have 3, because MTN8 Chiefs is not there. So now you must. It's going to be an added challenge, added pressure, because now it's that black label, it's Netbank and the league. The easiest, it's MTN, but you are not there. It's easiest because it's few games, quickly go through that. Whether you perform well or not, it neither here nor there.
For sure.
Quickly you find yourself in the final, you win it, done. You buy yourself time. But now, it's not there. So the plan should be from the first game of the league going.
I've got Coach Peter's numbers.
I have.
Oh yeah, but by the way, because you worked with him, so he's in the country.
Yeah.
Are you hinting at something, Mahlatse?
Coach Peter's in the country.
Yeah, I know.
If you're talking about a coach with pedigree. But the
management is dealing with the coach staff. I'm sure that when they make a decision to invite you, go natural, I'm sure they'll be in a space or a position where they say we made the right choice to take this team forward.
All right. Are you done with your Kaizer Chiefs questions
because
now?
if Makwelane is having a bride, whether you don't have money to buy meat this side, it can be very difficult.
Not a nice situation, but we keep things moving. Bafana Bafana, of course, will be in action. They play Nigeria this week, and then the following week they'll be playing Zimbabwe. So, quick one, yeah. I mean, when you look into the pool and the depth of Bafana Bafana, I mean, you've played for Bafana Bafana, 50 caps that you have in your name. The pool, the depth of Bafana Bafana squad, what do you make of the squad that we have? I mean, yes, they achieved a great feat come AFCON that just concluded. But now when you look generally compared to as well, you know, the crop of players back in your time, I know it's always an unfair comparison, you know, when back in my day, I know footballers don't like that. But, you know, when you look into the comparisons of where we come from as a nation, where we are currently, what's your thoughts on that?
Let's accept that times have changed. The generations have changed.
Yeah.
And let's accept that things are different, right? We want to go forward. Let's now focus on the current group. AFCON, they did very well, based on the previous years.
Yeah.
Now the challenge is, do we carry on? Do we continue with the performance of AFCON?
For sure.
We played 2 friendly games. After that, it was not as we
not
thought
make sure.
it would be. not as much as we thought. We will take the performance AFCON to those friendly games as a build-up, and because they are very important. We got to see at least 2-3 new players in one of the friendly games that are 1 or 2 that are part of the squad now.
Yeah.
In terms of growing the squad, it helps with that. But again, when you do that, you still need to get a performance, you still need to get the results. It does not matter who you play with, right? And winning friendly games, it boosts your confidence. It allows you as a coach or players to have more new players, right? So that we grow the pool. We playing Nigeria now.
Yeah.
We know what happened to AFCON. So you come from 2 wins, friendly games, already the moral ukodi, the confidence is very high because of the last 2 games are 2 wins. Does not matter or give friendly or not, but they help for the next game. We are playing Nigeria, who are ahead because of what happened to AFCON. We're playing them away. So now you are confident, Jorge, we won, but you are not at the level where to say we've been winning even after we won games, right? You now need to start thinking of how the approach. Obviously, the coach has the approach because we're playing away. It is very important that we come back with something there. And Mara, the challenge would be mentally where the players are. We tend to play, or players tend to play the event, not the game. So because of the magnitude of their game, players tend to focus more on anything else but the game itself, and then lose focus on the game, and then we ended up making a lot of mistakes.
For sure.
Mistakes, and then 1 goal, Nyana, we come back, we lost that game. Based on the focus was not fully on the game, but it was on anything else around that game.
So to add on to talking about the squad, right? When you look at Bafana Bafana, the depth of the squad, most of our players are Mamelodi Sundowns players. We were talking influence about the fact that you could say that, I mean, Coach Hugo mentioned it, that the legs are tired and some of these players are struggling mainly with a groin or a hamstring injury, which is something that he believes that the club needs to look at. So now you take this, he says he's not worried about it into the World Cup qualifiers, but he might be worried about it come the AFCON qualifiers, come September. So now going into this encounter against Nigeria, with the fact that the Mamelodi Sundowns players might be tired, considering the fact that they've played a lot of games, they just concluded, of course, the Nedbank Cup final, some of these players. So now, how does Coach Hugo also, reinforce the squad? Because we saw how Bafana looked without some of the Mamelodi Sundowns players against Andorra. We played a 1-1 stalemate, and we were like, okay, how? We were expected to win that encounter.
When you're at that level, we chose 20-something players. They should be 20 whatever number best players currently in the country.
Should be.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be. And if that's the case, now we saying any player that is playing there, does not matter if it's Sundowns player, Chiefs, Pirates, whatever, it does not matter. Any player that represents the country then will do.
But
we are
synergy, you know this.
It does help, but you don't have time. You don't have the luxury of that time when you're a national team coach. Yes, Barcelona and Madrid used to happen in Spain, right? In Germany, Bayern and few of other teams used to happen. But again, times changes. Things change.
For sure.
Life happens. So when life happens, that players, Sundowns have the groins, what else? We have 16 teams plus 16 Yako Championship Motsepe, right?
Yeah.
So we have about 32 teams that we can choose players from to represent the country. You can't tell me only 8 players to Sundowns are the top players.
Can't tell you that, but influencer, when you look into that encounter that we watched, I mean, you could go to that squad list that played. You had Ricardo Goss in goals. You had Terence Mashigo, Tapelo Koki, who is also not available now. Sibisi hasn't been playing currently for Orlando Pirates, but he's back in this Bafana call-up, and he's hoping, of course, that he'll continue the form from AFCON. You also had Tapelo Morena, Bang Munare started, Goodman Musele, Elias Mokwena was the one that scored against Andorra, Londli Mbanjo was also there, and then of course Tito and Kanyisa Mai. So these are the players that we had, and we expected to get 4 points against a side like Andorra, but we didn't. So now when you go into against a side like Nigeria, and bearing the fact that, yes, they're also going through their own transition, they've got a new coach now. Victor Osimhen won't be there, Nathan Tella won't be there. So they're also missing key players from the Nigerian side. So how do you then expect Coach Hugo to assemble his squad against Nigeria?
Yeah, I think Coach Hugo should just he will have the best possible available players for him there, from what the camp that he has called now. The issue with us and Nigeria is that we, it's always a grudge match when the two teams play, and he needs to pick players with the pedigree, players that are on form. Guys who can go to Uyo on a, excuse me, what is going to be a hostile environment and at the very least try and get a point. I've got no doubt with the core of the squad that is called now. It's players who have been around, it's players who are key at their clubs. There's a little bit of experience there. And also there's a few players here, like you mentioned, Mokwana and them, who are knocking at that door. They are on the fringes, and if something goes wrong, you can always call them to come through and do the job. I'm also a little bit not sure as to how is he going to handle this issue of relay. Obviously, there's been a lot of hype around the kid. Nigeria match, maybe not the right platform to give him a chance. But at the same time, somebody can say, if the game is dragging, it's 70 minutes, it's 0-0, nothing is happening, why not? You may put him in there, and then he can pull a Bongani Zungu, and then voila, So someone may say, maybe give him a chance and let's see. In England, they always say, if you're good enough, you're old enough. So I really have got no worries about this team. I think they can go there and do the job. And one of the things that the coach said during the week at his press conference is the spirit among the players. I mean, they've been together now for a while now. By 1 or 2 changes here and there at each and every camp, but the core has been there. Most of the players have been there. They travel together. They spend a lot of time together. They are used to each other now. That, for me, I don't have a problem. The issue is just to take away that mental block of saying we're playing against Nigeria. We're scared we may lose to Nigeria. We need to go there and saying we can beat Nigeria, and we can beat Nigeria. I've got no fear about that. So I'm quite comfortable. Let's go to Uyo. If no win, let's get a draw. Not too many goals conceded, whatever the score is. Come back here, deal with Zimbabwe, and then, we can start, Coach Yeye can start making the bookings for the US.
Okay. Coach, you look into Nigeria's side, and I mean, yes, there's no Victor Osimhen there, but there is Boniface from Bayern Leverkusen. There's also Lukman, who's also available for Nigeria. So they are boosted as much as, yes, no Victor, but they are still players who are capable. How do we then now neutralize these players? Because they just won Bundesliga, so they're coming into this Nigeria squad with confidence.
For me, players that are mostly playing in Europe, they are different players when they're playing for their country. It does not change the fact that they are good players, but they are not the same players. I don't know why. We have equally good players, whether as much as we are playing local, most of us in our team, we have good players that can hold their own with any country, and I believe that, truly believe that with the team that we have, we can compete with anyone, especially in the continent. When we play big games like this, I don't stress, I promise you. When we play with big countries like this, I don't stress. You're Egypt, you're Nigeria, you're Morocco. I'm easy because I know that we will show up. I know that our boys will show up. It's only then when we play those smallanyana, so-called smallanyana countries that I panic to say, ish, mentally, because we have this attitude in the country that says that attitude of No, I got this. They are younger, they are what. But when you play Nigeria, we don't even need to neutralize individual players. Yes, we must know what are the capabilities, the strengths and weaknesses, and do what we need to do as a team.
Another critical thing, coach, is that they are flying charter straight. No stories, no jiga airports long all over the place. That is another significant thing that SAFA, we always hammer SAFA every time when we're here saying they don't know what they're doing and all those kinds of things. But on this one and the few ones before, they've done the right decision. Spend money, make the players as comfortable as they can be.
For sure.
Let the players, we say this all the time, let the players just focus on playing the football. If they are worried about sleeping on the bench at the hotel, at the airport in middle of nowhere around the world, it's not good, because then they get distracted. And on that one, I'm very happy that SAFA have done this. The guys will come back, and they'll come back here in time to have that extra few hours to prepare or switch on again and prepare for Zimbabwe next week.
All right, before we wrap this up, I want to find out, we'll go to Zimbabwe in just a bit. Yeah, you look into the defense line, right? We do know that Grant Kigana had to be pulled out because of that injury, and they called in Kevin Msimango. But then now you look into the position, right? Because I'm always excited about the central defense as to who do you pair up with who. You've got Ungezane, who just did well in Romania as well. You have Sibisi, who's hoping to also, raise his hand after not playing at Orlando Pirates, but did well in terms of the Africa, and now Msimango as well. How do you see that partnership? Who is going to be given the nod ahead of who? Because, yes, we could say Lord Mvala definitely will be given a start, but amongst who?
Sure. That position is very, very critical. It's the same as a goalkeeper. When one mistake, the possibility of being a goal, it's very high. So, personally,
for sure,
as a coach, and my thinking would be who has been consistent in terms of performing for his team, right? One would be Ngezane. But how long hasn't he been playing now, since the last game and now? In terms of fitness levels, okay, match fitness, okay. So already that would give me the doubts. And then I would say CBC, how he hasn't been playing. For his team, Orlando Pirates. But the times that he got, I know he's a decent defender. Also the profile, CBC versus the type of Nigerian strikers. So now you start profiling that to say, if it's given and Ngezane versus CBC, now you're saying, okay, fine. The two height-wise, we are sorted. They'll complement Mutobi in terms of competing for aerial balls. And then you go to when fitness levels-wise, Ngezane hasn't been playing for 3-4 weeks now. I don't know how long, but it's over 3 weeks now. So it's too long. Maybe he might be struggling in terms of fitness levels. Given finished 2 weeks ago, and he had a decent season. Decent, as much as obviously the team did not do well, but him as a player, it was decent, and fitness wise, he's not far off with other players. I would go for him. For now.
Yeah, well, for me, in terms of chemistry, because CBC was with Mvala at the Cup of Nations, they spent a lot of time together there. Though he hasn't played much, I would be tempted to pair the Lord and CBC. The issue with Ngezane, I'm just not sure about the level there, the level of the football there.
Are you doubting the level in Romania?
Yeah, I don't think it's a top league. It's one of those leagues in Europe that it's not even. I don't think it's even better than Belgium or Scandinavia or Sweden. It's a big club that is playing football in in a country where the level is not where it's supposed to be, you know. But I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the guy. He has done very well going to a foreign country and fighting and, you know, getting starts, and it's not easy.
For sure.
I'm just saying generally in J, the level of football in Romania, I'm not sure that, you know, he's another Rio Ferdinand or something like that. But yeah, for me, I'll put Lord Mvala with
Bodlela next to him.
With Bodlela next to him, and you know, I'm sure they worked well together at AFCON and stuff, and you know, they know the schemes and all those kinds of things, and you know, so maybe
in terms of chemistry, remember Mutobi played with Given.
Oh yeah,
Highlands Park.
Yeah.
So I don't think it will be
too bad.
Yeah. With the two of them, I don't think so. Again, it's not the profiling of players also. Definitely Nigeria are not a ball playing.
No.
They go wide and then they put
the cross.
Compete, go striking, and then so we need someone that is mad enough, that has height, that has strength to compete at that level. Bodlela can't do that, but how often can he do that? Because there's some Bolonyana etamoshapang ka 1 inch nyana, mainly because of the height in J.
Yeah, because they're big boys. Yeah.
Not that Hana capability, not Hana ability. No. It's mainly on that profile, high fella, physically. So when you play teams like this already, for your job to be easy, you try and minimize in terms of how you profile players.
For sure.
Already height-wise, you know, I know Toby whoever that is coming there. It does not matter height, it does not matter how strong he is. You know Toby will definitely do that. Anything that goes up, Given will just throw himself there and compete. And then we try and play from the second ball. Do we have players to do that? We have those people who can deal with the second ball, secure it, and then we start playing our normal way.
So you look into Jaden Adams, part of the squad, African, and he's part of the squad again. Is it the right time to start him? Because you speak about protecting our youngsters, and you spoke about Relay, that maybe not the time to start him against a side like Nigeria. What about Adams?
It's the same. We treat him as our youngster in the country. So it's the same. We don't treat this youngster different to that youngster. For me as a coach, you mentioned it, Tori, you play a game, Nigeria, and then you play it's too tight. And then as a coach, you think when it's happening, you say, oh, that defender is too rigid, that defender only too many mistakes. You say, let me take a risk. And hoping it will pay off. You say Adams, you say Relay, come in, this is what I want. I want to, when you have the ball, get the ball in certain spaces, don't pass. Just try and take players on. Maybe you'll, if you take him on, you score. If he trips you or he fouls you, it's a penalty. Those are the risks that a coach takes during the game. Does he plan prior the game? No, you don't really plan that. Some subs you plan to say, if things don't go my way, then I can take this one out and play this. I can. But some of those decisions, especially when it comes to the youngsters, knowing they are tricky, quick feet, skillful, you don't really plan according to the game. You say, okay, sharp. Now it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes. I have 10 players that will help you. If you lose it, I have 10 other players that will try and get it back for you. Do that, and then
All right, let's quickly look into Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, they've got, my goodness, their own struggles. You look at the fact that they've got a new interim coach, new interim technical bench, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, a lot is happening there. But their sporting director is someone that we know very well here in South Africa, Sunday Chitswambe, who was, of course, former Black Leopards coach. So a familiar face that we might know there, but same thing that you've alluded to in terms of, the nations and having players who play from Europe. You look into into that Zimbabwe squad, a lot of the players, of course, coming from international overseas where they are based to come and play for their home side, then being Zimbabwe. How do you expect this one to come about? We're talking to Sizwe Mabena, who was saying, no, don't nyatsa Zimbabwe, guys. Anything can come out of that one. But how do you see that, Coach?
Yeah, when you play COSAFA region teams, we should be dominating this region. We should be clapping any country for us to call ourselves a big footballing country.
For sure.
So here we should dominate, and against Zimbabwe it should be like that. But unfortunately, it's not. It's another derby / war that obviously, because previously we had too many players that were playing in our country. So now that has been not going very well for them. Yeah. So they would want to expose themselves again to South African teams. What a better way to do it by obviously beating South Africa. So it's not going to be easy. Yeah. We must really focus on that one. Fully be on the game, commit ourselves, do the right things all the time throughout the game, because that one won't be easy. Nigeria, we know, Jorge, it's always war. We know that. So we are knowing So this one, when we come back, we must be in the right space. It does not matter which result we get that side, but this one we must now be fully focused and be in the right space to win that game, to compete against Zimbabwe.
Influencer, talk to us about this encounter. It's here at home and they're taking it to a very special province. I believe you're planning he's planning a whole holiday, hey? He's going out, I don't know, how many days are you going out for again?
For a few days.
For a few days. I think after today he goes away. But anyway, talk to us about...
bookings are not done yet.
Bookings are not done yet. Talk to us about, Bloom. Bloom is a place that we also love as South Africans, and the fact that Bafana is going there and of course hosting Zimbabwe there. What does that mean for Bafana Bafana?
Yeah, I think just to agree with the coach, if there's one team that can beat us is Zimbabwe. And largely they can beat us if we underestimate them. If you look at that squad that they have, they've got a number of players playing at reasonable leagues all over the place around the world. And sometimes those players, they go there, they work, they gain experience. Yeah. They come back to the national team and they do well for the country. Yeah, it's also even us with Zimbabwe. There's this thing between us and Zimbabwe that has been happening for the longest time since those days.
We've got a thing with everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I guess just the whole continent just doesn't like us for some reason. Yeah. Since those days of Pidandlobo 4x4s and you know, so there's always something when we meet against Zimbabwe. We close neighbors, we love each other, but when it comes to sports, everything pauses. So it should be a good game also.
Touch on the venue, Mahlatse Mphahlele.
The venue, yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens there. The good thing is it's going to a place where people there have always responded to football. Yeah. It will be nice for the Siwelele guys and to come out and sing, spur these guys on, and there I think the non-negotiable thing is 3 points there. You are at home against a less fancy team,
for sure,
with due respect. You know, so yeah, we should force to get the 3 points there. If we go to Nigeria, get a point, the morale will be there, the spirit will be there, the guys will come back here, the country will be behind them. You know, transition to Zululand land. You know, things will just go. You know, will just be in your favor. We can push the team around to say, guys, this is a World Cup qualifier. Let's get the 3 points, and you know, we remain in contention to qualify for the World Cup. Remember, we haven't qualified for the World Cup. You guys played with because you
they didn't qualify. We were hosting.
So it's been a long time since we qualified for the World Cup. It would be a nice thing for this country. For sure. If these boys can really push, and ultimately we find ourselves going to the US and Mexico.
All right, we definitely would love that. Let's quickly find out what Coach Hugo Broos has to say ahead of both encounters.
Qualifiers for World Cup, everybody knows that every one of us wants to go and wants to be qualified for the World Cup in 26, but we are in front of two very tough games. First of all, Nigeria, finalist AFCON, players who are playing in the best competitions in Europe. At the other side, we saw also what we can do against them on AFCON. If we had a little bit luck on our side, we were in the final and not Nigeria. I think we were the best team in the semi-finals. We could have won that, so we don't have to be afraid. The other game against Zimbabwe is different. It's, and a game between neighbors. I think that Zimbabwe, after the ban of AFCON last year, they have another team with another coach. So from that side, it will be a tough game. But if you see our performances of the last, let's say, 6 months, AFCON, the game in Algeria, where we did a very good game. So we have to be confident and we have to believe in our chances. And I know that some people say, yes, but Algeria, you received 3 goals. From the 3 goals, there were 2 individual mistakes. So for me, those 3 goals we conceded are not so important. The most important thing for me was that we brought a very good performance against Algeria, a very good performance. So it has to give us confidence for us to achieve our goal, and our goal has to be at least 4 on 6. I don't want to lose any of those 2 games. I want to win one and I want to have a draw. That means 4 on 6, we will stay in the race for qualifying, for the World Cup, and that has to be our goal for the next 2 games.
Well, we're definitely wishing Bafana Bafana all the best to keep things moving. You know how we always wrap up, of course, the show. We always have the question of the day. And today's question of the day is to find out from the 2 gentlemen here. Of course, they're top player from the top 3 clubs in the DStv Premiership. So for 1 player from Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates and Stellenbosch. Who are those players, gentlemen? We'll start with you, Mahlatse Mphahlele, to give Yeye a bit more time to think about it.
Yeah. Choose one.
Yeah, just one.
One or just
one?
No.
Oh,
one.
Yeah, one.
Oh,
okay, for me, Stellenbosch, it's very difficult. I'll have to choose between Igram, Reiners, Devin Titus. I like this defender, man, Tau Mulaisane. I really...
You do.
I think if he doesn't move to a bigger club this transfer, the scouts don't know what they're doing.
Okay, pick one.
I'll pick one. Igram Reiners, just for the strength of the goals. I think his goals push this team. And coach, if you look at Stellenbosch, they played, I think, the second number of matches after Sundowns. They went to 30 in the league, 2 semi-finals, and I think there's only 2 other matches that they didn't play in the whole season. So it has been a grueling season for them, and Igram, with everything that they've done, has been there. So he's my man for them.
Okay, Orlando Pirates?
Orlando Pirates, yeah, Orlando Pirates is a difficult one.
He doesn't even have a top 3. I'm shocked by this.
But, excuse me, I've been impressed with this Relebohile Mofokeng young man. He, you know, obviously, I mean, we are fortunate to be around the player sometimes, and he just, I don't think he even knows what's happening around him. He's having fun. He's having fun. He's enjoying his life, and you hardly hear anything negative about the boy.
True, yeah.
We spoke to him not so long ago. He still stays at home with his parents, and he says he's got no plans of moving out, which will go a long way in helping him to remain focused and calm, and because a lot of things can go wrong if young people who are suddenly now celebrities are away from home. So I'm happy for him. So my best player for Pirates will be Rele.
Okay, Sundowns.
For Sundowns, definitely I'll have to go with Ronwen Williams. I think Ronwen has played an integral part for that team. He's also, what people don't realize about him is that in most of the times he's the one who starts the attack not as a keeper but as a defender. And he sometimes, you know, he from his goal line he can pick a pass that can go deep into the midfield or deep into the half of the other team, and then from there they turn and then they attack teams. He's been very key for them, also for the national team, AFCON and all those things,
for sure.
Penalties. So Igram, Rele, and
Ronza.
And Ronza, by the way, is my football of the season.
Okay. All right, cool. Coach, what about you?
You said 3 big teams.
No, so the top 3.
Oh,
Stellenbosch, yeah, the top 3. Oh, we're trying to include Kaizer Chiefs.
You wanted to put Kaizer Chiefs.
Anyway.
Askies, coach.
Sundowns. You took Ronza, right? Minus him. It's between Ribeiro and Allende. I'll go for Allende any day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any day.
Of course. The position you played. Makes sense.
He's on another level.
Yeah, he is.
Stellis?
That's why I saw Coach to disturb me. I was a bit disappointed with him, but with the stuff he said about after the final that the guy is lazy and all these things. I think it was a little bit unfortunate that he said something like that. But yeah, anyway.
I didn't hear that.
Keep it moving, coach.
Stellis, between the 2 defenders, it's Muleisani and
Tore.
Kana, who's the captain, the right back?
Was it Basadin? No.
No, not, I forgot the name. Yeah. But between the 2 centre backs, I'll go for Muleisani. Local is like, I'll keep it local. Both of them help a team to be solid at the back, including the captain, who's the right back. But I'll go for Muleisani, just to keep it local. Orlando Pirates, I just hope Jorge, all the hype and praises that are going to Rele won't get into his head and then he changes. I'll give him mainly because I still say he's one of the youngsters that haven't seen in a long time,
for sure.
Especially playing for a big team.
Yeah.
So I'll give that to him. Of course, there are other players that are helping him, that played well, that contributed better than Yena. But I'll mainly give him because one, he's young, one, the attitude is right, and he's one of the special kids that we haven't seen as a country in a very long time.
All right, I think that's a good top 3 there. You let us know your top 3, of course. We'd love to hear from you. And that's how we wrap up the Arena Sports Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a super, super duper weekend. Cheers. Bye.